Welcome back to the news at 10. 500 young African leaders are in Washington, D.C. in the United States for President Barack Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative. Now, earlier today, during a meeting between the U.S. President and the fellows, President Obama announced the renaming of the Washington Fellowship for Young Leaders in honor of the late South African President Nelson Mandela. He also announced the United States' intention of doubling the number of annual participants in the fellowship to 1,000 by 2016. The 500 fellows selected from nearly 50,000 applications are between 25 and 35 years old and have proven track records of leadership in a public, private or civic organization. Now, our correspondent Adeshewa Josh is in Washington covering the summit, and now she joins us via Skype. Hi, Shewa.
Oh, thanks a lot, Ijema. Well, it's been a very interesting time here in Washington, D.C. Well, President Barack Obama had an interesting conversation between the Yali Fellows and some other representative of the Congress who were present in the hall that same day. He commended their works. That's the works of the fellows who were in the first place, qualified them for the program. He also, most importantly today, changed the name of the fellowship program, which used to be the Young African Leaders Initiative, to Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. I had opportunity to speak to some of the fellows, as the Nigerians amongst them, and they told me basically that the fellowship program has taught them leadership skills, and they are looking forward to coming back home to implement everything that they have learned.
That's great, Shewa. Thanks a lot. Do keep your eye on that summit. We know that it's a 3-day process, and we do intend to have more information from you as soon as you get it right over there in Washington. Our correspondent there, Adeshewa Josh, at the Young African Leaders Initiative in Washington, giving us the very latest on that 3-day summit and what the president and indeed the rest of the delegates intend to achieve being there. Well, Nigerian passengers traveling to Liberia for business may experience difficulties, and that's because Arik Air, one of the major airlines flying that route, has suspended all flights to Liberia and Sierra Leone to avoid the spread of the Ebola virus. This measure is coming on the heels of the death of a 40-year-old man who flew into Nigeria from Monrovia. The virus has killed at least 660 people in West Africa since February. Nigeria and Liberia have now put all entry points on red alert. Well, the dreaded Ebola virus may be out there, but July the 28th every year is World Hepatitis Day, a day set aside by the World Health Organization to remember the viral hepatitis, a disease physicians believe has been ignored for decades despite its potential dangers. The theme for this year's campaign is Hepatitis, Think Again, and is a call for a change in attitude to it. Major activities to mark the day in Nigeria have been postponed because of the Salah festivities, but our correspondent Henry Ogujimi in this report examines the disease, the people's knowledge of it, and the physician's side of the story.
Hepatitis is a medical condition defined by the inflammation of the liver and characterized by the presence of inflammatory cells in the tissue of the organ. Globally, the most common causes of the condition are the hepatitis viruses, but other infections come through food and water or overcrowding, blood and body fluids, toxic substances like alcohol, drugs, industrial organic solvents, and plants, as well as autoimmune diseases. Types of hepatitis range from hepatitis A, B, C, D to E, but the most dreaded is hepatitis B. Statistics from the World Health Organization show that over 400 million people are afflicted by hepatitis B worldwide, which is about 10 times more prevalent than HIV and AIDS. In Nigeria, 15 to 20% of the population are infected. But how many of them know about hepatitis?
I know it's a viral disease. It's caused by virus, and it's as dangerous as HIV, which we all know. And one thing that I know about it is curable if quickly detected.
It's something to do with the liver that affects the liver, and there are little or no symptoms. That's the reason why you should check yourself from time to time.
I know for sure it's a liver disease, and if screened early, I think it's curable.
It destroys the liver. It makes the liver to swell, and it will not function well.
Some knowledge, you may say, but the physicians believe a lot more needs to be known.
I think we need to know that we should do counseling and screening. So we should counsel them before we screen them.
A gastroenterologist and associate professor of medicine at the University of Lagos, Dr. Olufunmilayo Leshi, and a team of doctors and medical students are also worried about the low level of awareness.
We're looking at about 20 million people in Nigeria that are infected with this virus. So the question is, so what about that? We do know now that hepatitis B can damage the liver seriously, increase people's ill health. It causes early demise, and it has been strongly associated with cancer of the liver. In my routine work in the hospital, I see 10 to 15 new cases of advanced liver disease or liver cancer every month. We also know that of this number, at least 80 to 90% of them have hepatitis B. Now, had they known that they had hepatitis B, they will have taken precautions, they will have been treated, and they will not be having disease. Had they been vaccinated in the first place, they will not be coming down with liver cancer or liver disease.
Food for thought. So, have you been screened or vaccinated?
No, I was going to travel then, and was part of the requirements to have the injection, the immunization for hepatitis B, A and B, and all I did was to just take the vaccine.
I've not really gone for a checkup on it lately, but I think when I want to get my last job, I was screened for it, and I have a clean bill of health.
In general hospitals, before you donate blood, so to speak, they will highlight some of the blood test you need to do before you can actually donate. So they mentioned this hepatitis B. At the end of the day, they allowed me to actually donate blood. That shows that my own test went through.
Not everyone can be that lucky. The problem of disclosure has also hampered the campaign, and Dr. Leshi says being hepatitis B positive is not the end of the world for patients.
Thank God for science. We know that only 25 to 30% of people living with hepatitis B will ever develop any severe liver disease.
First Bank.
Welcome now to Business News. I'm Loretta Chiogo. The Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, has been investing the Sovereign Foreign Fund on some key sectors, including agriculture, motorways, healthcare, and the power sector. That's according to the Managing Director of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, Mr. Uche Orji. Mr. Orji adds that the authority plans to put in more investment in other sectors of the economy. The NSIA was recently rated second globally, an independent international organization. Financial markets are closed today and tomorrow to mark the Eid al-Fitr. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is also closed for business to observe the holiday. At the end of last week's trading session, the all-share index and market capitalization depreciated by 1.41% to close at 42,285.82. Meanwhile, the interbank lending rates climbed to 11.12% on Friday, compared to 10.50% recorded the previous week. This was after a central bank open market operation drained cash from the system. The open buyback rate also climbed to 10.75% from 10.50%.
1.25 percent points below the central bank's benchmark interest rate of 12%. All financial markets will reopen on Wednesday, July the 30th. As the Eid al-Fitr celebration goes on for the next 24 hours, businesses in Lagos remain shut down. Some central business districts in the state are reacting to the festive ambience of the season. However, a few informal businesses like the petty trading are open to the public, while the corporate offices and government agencies remained closed. It is expected that on Wednesday, the hustling and bustling nature of the central business districts will resume again. The ongoing two-day public holidays are set aside by the government to commemorate the last day of Muslims' Ramadan calendar. And that's it on business news. It's back to Ijoma for the rest of the news at 10.
First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Team Nigeria wins 3 more medals on day 5 of the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. That's on sports. Join us again.